And we do have a voicemail from one of our listeners. This is from Jim.
I wanted to ask Pastor Adriel if the cloud of witnesses in Hebrews 12 refers to saints in heaven who can see what's going on the earth today. Are they praying, or is there any indication in Scripture that they're praying on our behalf? Love your program. Thanks for your answer.
This is an excellent question, especially because yesterday we did receive a question about, whether it's okay to pray for our deceased relatives. So it's sort of fitting. The question is, what are our loved ones who are in heaven, that quote-unquote cloud of witnesses, what are they doing right now? And so that language comes from Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and the sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith. Now, we oftentimes read this cloud of witnesses as they're in heaven and they're witnessing the things that we do on earth. They are watching us, cheering us on, right? Like they're in the stands and we're still here on earth, the church militant, struggling to set our eyes on Jesus, and those who have gone before us are watching us, cheering us on. That's not what we should picture when we think about the cloud of witnesses. Think of a witness as someone who testifies. And this is what a witness does. And really the cloud of witnesses that the author of the Hebrews is speaking about there in chapter 12, verse 1, is that great group that he had mentioned in chapter 11, throughout chapter 11. Think about 11, verse 4. By faith, Abel offered to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain, through which he was commended as righteous, God commending him by accepting his gifts, and through his faith, though he died, he still speaks. In other words, these Old Testament heroes, these people who were in the quote-unquote hall of faith, through their action, through what we read about them in Scripture, they're still speaking to us, testifying to us of the reality of faith and the righteousness that is by faith. And so we're supposed to receive their testimony as that great cloud of witnesses testifying to us of the reality of the gospel and Christ's redemptive work. We're supposed to take that testimony and run with it, believing in Jesus and setting our eyes upon Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. And so that's really what Hebrews 11 and 12 is about. It's not about these people who have gone before us who are watching us and their time in heaven is occupied with the things that we're doing here on earth. No, they're focused on the Lord and on his throne. And that's actually what we see in chapter 12. Later, as the author of the Hebrews has this vision of the worship that's taking place in heaven, the saints and the angels around the throne of God worshiping him. And so really appreciate that question, an excellent question, and pray that the Lord blesses your day, Jim.